I pretty much just told you the movie. I feel real bad for doing it, so I'm going to make this a spoiler review and let you guys know ahead of time. Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the Movie Cranks. I'm Larry. And today, I got to watch a movie that, when it was out in the theaters, I kind of avoided because of all the negative reviews, and that's Replicas, starring Keanu Reeves, Alice Eve, Tom Middleditch, and let's just start with, I'm going to give the critics props on this one. You were right. This movie is so stupid. I mean, everything in it, it just doesn't make any sense at any point. And the weird thing is, when it came out in the movie theaters, I actually wanted to see this movie. I was kind of excited to see this movie. Well, let me start by telling you a little bit about this movie. It's about a scientist, Will Foster, who's working on extracting memories from dead people's brains and trying to upload them into a robot. He finds out that this doesn't work too well, and they're having a lot of problems trying to figure it out.
Who am I? Sergeant. Sergeant Kelly! Sergeant Kelly! Turn it off. The imprint failed.
And here's the weird part, because right when this started, I immediately was like, oh, well, I know exactly why this isn't working. I mean, it's kind of obvious. And then it takes this genius scientist another 45 minutes to figure out and go over all the data that I already figured out within the first 10 minutes of the movie. Oh, God. You know, some movies, I just don't get it. I just really don't get it. So then the movie goes on, and he goes on a vacation, which is what you do when your project isn't working and they're threatening to fire you. He goes on some kind of vacation with his wife and kids. They end up a car accident, which again was so just dumb. I mean, they set up a good way to actually kill off the characters that are supposed to die. And then they turn around and they make it out of that situation and then turn around 30 seconds later and kill them another way. I was so confused. And then of course he calls up his buddy and's like, bring me the mind controller, the mind uploader. So the buddy just drives out to the middle of nowhere with these mind uploader devices, which how they would ever got them out of the company to begin with makes absolutely no sense. And then he agrees to basically help him upload his family's minds into clones, which is another thing. So there's another part of this movie with Ed, played by Tom Middleditch. I mean, it is just so, again, I don't know who greenlighted this project, but you had to have seen this. He goes to the company called Biodyne, which is so typical sounding, and he basically takes these, I guess you could call them cloning aqua tanks or something. Cloning tanks, we'll just call them that. So then they go on to get these 3 cloning tanks, which is another thing that just doesn't make any sense. Ed goes and just grabs 3 cloning tanks out of Biodyne, which is the company they work for, and he even says that they're $1.7 million a piece. So I'm just trying to think this reasonably. What company have you ever worked for? You could just drive up and be like, yeah, I need 3 cloning tanks. Well, I need 4, but 3 will work. Well, those are $5.1 million. Okay, we'll just give them to you. It makes zero sense, guys. And none of this movie makes any sense. One thing just leads to another problem in the movie. Like now you got the fact that he can only clone 3 of his family members. So one of the family members doesn't get cloned. So wouldn't you think people around town, aunts, uncles, school children, would miss this person and be like, where are they at? I mean, and they do try to explain that, but it's almost like they forgot to explain it, and they started explaining it too late in the movie. And it's like, okay, it's like almost like you forgot that this actually would be a problem, and then came back and said, you know what, we got to put this in the movie, so we're going to have to do a reshoot, and then we'll just edit it in there somewhere. So then we end up just going from one plot hole to another plot hole while he's trying to figure out how to upload these memories into these clones without them freaking out, which, like I said, I already figured out at the beginning of the movie what the problem was. And then he does it, and then Biodyne, now we got a villain, which doesn't make any sense. The last 20 minutes of the movie, a villain comes into the story. There's just so much to go over here. I'm sorry, it's probably going to be all over the place. Because then there's this part where he actually proves that his family really isn't his family by uploading his own brain into a robot to help him beat this villain. So basically he proves that two consciousnesses can live on the same plane at the same time, which means this consciousness isn't real, which would be the same thing with your family. They're not your family, they're clones, and they just have the memories of your family, okay? So your family now, I guess, has been buried in shallow, unmarked graves, all while you live happily ever after with your newfound family. It just doesn't... It's ununderstandable how stupid this is. And then there's a subject of the CGI used here, which is like 1995 effects. I mean, we're in the era of Thanos and Iron Man and flying humans. We can do anything with CGI now almost. And you can't make an effect with a robot that looks as good as iRobot. There's one effect here. I won't say it was an effect, but he was wearing a suit and it looks so cheap. And then there's this time where he's running across the screen and he's like, and it was so fake looking. And then he leaves his buddy, the guy that helps him do all this, that helps him get his family back. I'm pretty sure he left him for dead, all while raising the villain back up to help him. It's, I don't even know how to explain it. It's just that dumb. It's really that dumb. So in the end, guys, I'm going to go ahead and give Replicas an F. Unfortunately, it wastes Keanu Reeves and the cast, and it actually kind of just screws up a really good idea. This could have been a good movie. Unfortunately, the way it's put together, the way it's shot, the way it's edited, they just screwed it up royally. Anyways, that's about all I really have for this one. There really isn't much more to it. But I do understand now why it got a 10% Rotten Tomatoes, and I thank God I listened to him and didn't go pay for this movie. I couldn't recommend anybody paying for this movie. Just wait till it comes out on Netflix or one of your streaming services that you're already paying for so you don't feel like you got ripped off. But anyways, guys, thanks for stopping by The Cranks and checking out this video. I hope you liked it. If you did, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right there. Join The Cranks. Help us reach 500. You can also follow us on Facebook and check us out on Twitter. But for right now, guys, that's about all I got. So I'm going to get out of here. So until next time, guys, see you later.